He thought his badge made him untouchable, until he brought the wrong veteran to court. They say America is the land of the free, but freedom feels like a joke when your face is pressed against cold asphalt, gravel biting into your cheek, and a man with a badge whispers in your ear like he's God himself. Don't move. Don't you even breathe unless I say so. I wanted to fight back. God knows I did. But I'd learned the hard way, years ago in Afghanistan, that sometimes survival means doing nothing at all. This isn't war, not in the way most people think. But for men like me, black and born into a country that salutes your service but flinches at your skin color, it might as well be. It was a Tuesday evening, the sun bleeding orange across the sky as I drove home from my daughter's school. Elena had forgotten her science project, something about volcanoes, and I told her not to worry. Dad would get it. Always Dad's job to fix things. I'd been out of the military for 5 years. I'd survived roadside bombs, sniper fire, and sleepless nights in desert hellscapes. But nothing prepared me for this. The flashing red and blue lights appeared in my rearview mirror just as I turned onto Willow Street. At first, I thought it wasn't for me. Seatbelts on, taillights working, nothing to worry about. But the cruiser stayed close. Too close. Then the siren wailed. Pull over. A voice barked from the loudspeaker. I sighed, my chest tightening. Another long day. Another quota to fill. I could see it before I even turned the lights on. Black male, Dodge sedan, probably ex-military. The plates had that little veteran insignia. Easy stop. I'm Officer Daniel Briggs. 15 years on the force. I know how this works. Pull them over. Find a reason to search. Rack up the stats. And if they've got an attitude, well, that's on them. I rolled down my window, keeping both hands on the steering wheel like I'd practiced 100 times. Evening, officer. He didn't respond right away. Just stood there, his shadow cutting across my face as he shone the flashlight into my eyes. You know why I stopped you? He finally said. No, sir. License and registration. I moved slowly, deliberately, narrating every motion like my life depended on it. My wallet's in my back pocket. I'm reaching for it now. Yeah, he muttered. Just hurry it up. I handed over my license. He stared at it for a moment too long. Marcus Cole. Army, huh? Yes, sir. What's a soldier like you doing in this neighborhood? This is my neighborhood. Wrong answer. Something about the way he looked at me, calm, steady, it pissed me off. Like he thought he was better than me. I'd seen his type before. Soldiers come back from the sandbox, thinking they're heroes. But out here, I'm the one with the badge. I'm the one in charge. And tonight, he was about to learn that. I'm just trying to get home, sir. But Briggs wasn't listening. Step out of the vehicle. Is there a problem? Now. I froze. Don't argue. Don't escalate. Just comply. I opened the door and stepped out, my boots crunching on the gravel shoulder. Hands on the hood. I did as I was told. Any weapons on you? No, sir. But that didn't stop him from patting me down like I was on a terrorist watch list. His hands lingered on my ribs, pressing harder than necessary. You're awfully tense, soldier. Got something to hide. No, sir. Turn around. I hesitated, and that's when he shoved me. Briggs narrating. He didn't move fast enough. That was all I needed. My baton was out before he could blink. A quick jab to the ribs to gain compliance. Textbook procedure. At least, that's how I'd write up later. He staggered, catching himself on the hood. You're resisting me, boy. I hissed. His jaw tightened. No, sir. Then stay down. But he didn't. Something in me snapped. Maybe it was the word boy. Maybe it was the pain flaring through my side. Or maybe it was the years of swallowing my pride, of being told to thank you for your service by people who crossed the street to avoid me a second later. I straightened up, and I looked Briggs dead in the eye. Sir, I don't want trouble. Please, let me go home. But Briggs wasn't hearing me. His baton came down again. This time, I didn't block it. I couldn't. I crumpled to the ground, the taste of blood filling my mouth. Somewhere in the distance, I heard my phone ringing. Elena. probably wondering where her dad was. He was down. Good. Stop resisting. I barked for the dash cam, though he wasn't moving. It was all about the report now. Make him the aggressor. Say I feared for my life. Claim he reached for my weapon. Nobody would question it. They never did. I slapped the cuffs on him, tighter than necessary. Another day, another arrest. The cuffs bit into my wrists like razor wire. I wanted to scream, to fight, but instead, I closed my eyes. Survive. That's the mission now. Survive. As the squad car door slammed shut behind me, I made a promise to myself. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. Kindly subscribe to this channel. The camera lingers on Briggs as he smirks at the dash cam, typing up his report. Suspect assaulted officer. Force was necessary to subdue him. Meanwhile, Marcus' phone vibrates in the wreckage of his car. The screen lights up. Elena, 8. Dad, where are you? The smell of gunpowder never leaves you. Years later, I still wake up in the dead of night with my lungs burning, ears ringing from explosions that aren't even there. But nothing, not even the chaos of war, prepare me for what it feels like to be stripped of dignity in your own country, for being the enemy in the very place you swore to protect. They kept me in the holding cell for 12 hours. No water, no medical attention for my cracked ribs, no answers. Every now and then, Briggs walked past bars, his boots clicking against the floor. You're not so tough without that uniform, huh? He sneered. I stayed quiet. Flashback, Afghanistan. The desert wind howled through the compound like a dying animal. I was 27 when I first killed a man. It was supposed to be him, or me. At least that's what they told us. But the weight of it never goes away. The memory clings to your soul like smoke. Back to present. Cole, a guard barked. Yeah. Your lawyer's here. Lawyer? I didn't have one. Couldn't afford one. But as I was led into the interrogation room, I saw her. Amara wasn't what I expected. Young, black, sharp eyes that looked like they'd seen too much too soon. She didn't smile. Marcus Cole? She asked. Yes. I'm your public defender. And I won't lie to you, this doesn't look good. What's the charge? Assaulting a police officer, resisting arrest, threatening public safety. I felt my chest tighten. All lies, I said quietly. Her expression softened for a second. I believe you, but belief won't get us far in a system like this. It was all so easy. One report, a few witnesses from my precinct, and Marcus Cole became just another thug resisting arrest. Nobody would question it. They never do. After hours of paperwork and warnings, they released me on bail. When I stepped out of the station, the air hit my lungs like ice. But before I could take a full breath, I heard a voice. I saw what happened. I turned. A teenager, maybe 17, stood in the shadows, clutching a phone. You're Marcus Cole, right? That cop, he's lying. I got it all on video. My pulse quickened. You have footage? Yeah, but I can't let anyone know I filmed it. My mom would kill me. Please, I whispered. That video could save my life. He hesitated. I'll think about it. Then he disappeared into the night. They told me Cole had been released. That should have been the end of it. But something about his face, that look in his eyes as I slammed the cuffs on, he wasn't going to let this go. And neither was I. At home, Elena ran into my arms. Daddy, what happened? Why are you hurt? I forced a smile, ignoring the fire in my ribs. Daddy's okay, baby. Just had a bad day at work. She didn't believe me. Neither did my sister, Janice, who hovered in the kitchen like a storm cloud. Marcus, you need to drop this, she said. What? Don't go up against him. Against them. They'll ruin you. I can't let him get away with this. You've got a daughter to think about. You know how they treat us. I know, I said softly. That's exactly why I have to fight. The next morning, I got a call from Amara. Marcus, the judge just fast-tracked your trial. What does that mean? It means Briggs pulled strings. They're trying to bury you before you can fight back. I clenched my fist. Then we'll just have to dig faster. But in the pit of my stomach, I felt it. This wasn't just about Briggs anymore. This was about the whole damn system. Please subscribe to this channel for more. The first thing they teach you in combat is this. It's not the bullets you see that kill you. It's the ones you don't. That lesson came back to me now, not in some dusty battlefield overseas, but right here home, in a courtroom that felt like enemy territory. This wasn't a fight I signed up for, but it was one I couldn't afford to lose. Amara's office smelled of stale coffee and paper. She sat behind her desk, a stack of folders so high they threatened to topple. "They've got a strong case, Marcus," she said. "They've got lies." I shot back. "Lies don't matter when the system is designed to believe them." Her words hit like a gut punch. "Then we flipped the script?" I said. Amara raised an eyebrow. "How?" I told her about the kid, the one with the video. Her eyes widened. "Marcus, if that video exists, it changes everything." "Then we find him," I said, "before Briggs does." The department was buzzing with whispers. "Did you hear? Cole's got a lawyer. They say there might be video footage." I slammed my locker shut. "Video?" I barked at my partner, Miller. He looked away. Probably just talk. But I knew better. One leak, one flash drive, and my whole career goes up in flames. I couldn't let that happen. The boy's name was Jamal. 17. Skinny. Eyes too old for his face. We met in the back corner of a library, away from prying eyes. He slid his phone across the table. "I don't want no trouble, man," he said. "I get it," I told him gently. "But you're the only one who can help me." I pressed play. The screen lit up. Briggs, baton raised. Me, hands in the air. His voice clear as day. "Stop resisting." But the video showed the truth. I wasn't resisting at all. It was all him. All brutality. I felt tears sting my eyes. "This is it," Amara whispered. "This is a smoking gun." Miller would meet my gaze. "Tell me the truth," I demanded. "Did anyone see?" He hesitated. "Some kid, Jamal something. He might have filmed it." I felt my blood run cold. "Find him," I growled. "And what if I do?" Miller asked softly. "You let me worry about that." At home, I tried to act normal. Elena sat on the couch, coloring. "Daddy, are we gonna be okay?" she asked. I crouched beside her, forcing a smile. "Yes, baby girl. Daddy's got this." But inside, I wasn't so sure. That night, my phone buzzed. It was Jamal. "Mr. Cole, I don't feel safe." "What's wrong?" 2 cops came to my house. They asked questions. My mom's scared. She wants to delete the video. "Listen to me," I said. "Don't delete it. Can you send it to my lawyer?" "I'll try, but..." The line went dead. I watched from the unmarked car as Jamal walked down the street, phone clutched in his hand. "This is a bad idea," Miller muttered beside me. "You want to end up like Cole?" I snapped. We stepped out. I called Jamal again. No answer. Again. Voicemail. My chest tightened. "Amara," I said, voice shaking. "We have to find him." The next morning, I turned on the news. A reporter stood in front of yellow tape. "Police are investigating the disappearance of Jamal Reed, a local high school student who was last seen leaving his home last night." I dropped the remote. "They got to him," I whispered. Amara's voice crackled through the phone. "Marcus, if they're willing to make a kid disappear, what do you think they'll do to you?" I looked at Elena playing the yard, and for the first time since Afghanistan, I felt true fear. In war, they teach you about fire superiority. Whoever controls the battlefield controls the fight. But this wasn't Afghanistan. This was home, and the battlefield here was built for me to lose. After Jamal went missing, I couldn't sleep. Every sound outside my window felt like boots on gravel. Every car idling on my street felt like an unmarked cruiser, waiting for me to make a mistake. Elena clung to me at night. "Daddy, why are you awake?" "I'm just keeping watch, baby." But even as I said it, I realized something. I wasn't keeping watch. I was hiding, and I swore I'd never do that again. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. It didn't matter how many times I went over my report. It all checked out. The suspect resisted arrest. Force was necessary. but my hand still shook when I typed it. Cole wasn't supposed to fight back. He was supposed to take the charges, plead out, and disappear like the rest of them. But now there were protests outside the courthouse, signs with my name, and I could feel it. The blue wall wasn't as solid as it used to be. Amara sat across from me, her fingers drumming on a thick case file. You want to fight back? Then we have to play smarter than them. They made Jamal disappear, I said flatly. They didn't make you disappear, she countered. Yet, I swallowed hard. What's the plan? Tomorrow you take the stand. The room was packed. Cameras, reporters, people holding signs. Justice for Marcus Cole and Blue Lives Matter. I felt every eye on me as I walked the stand. Briggs sat at the prosecution's table, his smirk glued to his face like armor. Sergeant Cole, the prosecutor began. You claim Officer Briggs assaulted you without cause. But isn't it true you have a history of anger issues? PTSD? Objection! Amara snapped. Irrelevant. Overruled, the judge said. I took a deep breath. Yes, I said, I have PTSD. From serving my country, not from resisting arrest. Or maybe you just can't tell the difference anymore. The prosecutor sneered. Watching him up there, calm and steady, pissed me off. He was supposed to break, but he didn't. And when it was my turn to testify, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Fear. Briggs took the stand, his uniform crisp, his voice calm. Mr. Cole was aggressive from the start. I feared for my life. Lies. Every word was a lie. I wanted to scream, but Amara leaned over. Let him talk, she whispered. We've got this. So I used reasonable force to subdue him, I said. The judge nodded. The jury nodded. But then Amara stood up, her eyes like daggers. Officer Briggs, were you aware that a local resident may have filmed the incident? The blood drained from my face. I know. Because if such footage exists and we intend to find it, wouldn't it show Mr. Cole not resisting? Objection, the prosecutor barked. But the damage was done. Marcus narrating. For the first time I saw it, a flicker of doubt in Briggs' eyes. He wasn't untouchable anymore. That night I got a call. Marcus, this is Jamal's mom. My heart stopped. Yes, ma'am. I found something on his laptop. A copy of the video. I think he made a backup. I nearly dropped the phone. Can you send it to my lawyer? Yes, but they're watching my house. I'm scared. The line went dead. I turned to Amara. If that video gets out, it's over for Briggs. Amara nodded. But Marcus, that also means the war is about to get uglier. Kindly subscribe to this channel. They say every man has a breaking point. I wasn't there yet, but I could see it coming. The department wasn't returning my calls. The union rep wouldn't look me in the eye. And now this damn video. If it got out, it wouldn't just ruin me. It would burn everything I'd built. 15 years of service. So I did what I had to do. You love your boy, don't you? I said softly, sliding an envelope across the table. Her hands trembled. Take it. New house. New life. All you have to do is make sure that video never sees daylight. Tears welled in her eyes. Officer Briggs. He trusted you. He thought cops were supposed to protect us. They are, I said coldly. And right now I'm protecting you. The protest started small. A handful of veterans. A few neighbors holding signs. But within days, the crowd outside the courthouse swelled into hundreds. Justice for Marcus Cole. The system is guilty. End qualified immunity. I didn't ask for any of this. But watching them chant my name, I realized something. This fight wasn't just mine anymore. Amara turned to me as we walked past the crowd. You're becoming a symbol, Marcus. I don't want to be a symbol. You don't get to choose. Not anymore. That video was a ticking bomb. I tried everything, bribes, intimidation, even leaning on a few old favors at the precinct. But cracks were starting to show. Officer Miller, my partner of 7 years, wouldn't meet my eyes. You good? I asked him. He hesitated. Then, maybe it's time to come clean. What did you just say? You made a mistake. Own it before it's too late. I slammed him against the locker. You're either with me or against me." His eyes hardened. "Maybe I'm not with you anymore." That night, I got a call from Jamal's mom. "Mr. Cole, I tried to send a video to your lawyer, but someone broke into our house, took the laptop." My stomach dropped. "Are you okay?" "We're leaving town. I can't let them hurt my son." The line went dead. I turned to Amara, my fists clenched. "They're trying to bury us." Amara's jaw tightened. "Then we dig harder." I stepped onto the courthouse steps, hundreds of faces staring back at me. I didn't ask for this fight, but I can't run from it either. Because if they can do this to me, a soldier who fought for this country, what do you think they'll do to you? The crowd roared. No justice, no peace. For the first time since that night on Willow Street, I felt hope. Hope. That's what I had to kill. If I could make Marcus look like the aggressor one more time, the public would turn on him. I had one last card to play. The next morning, Amara burst into my apartment, her face pale. "Marcus, they leaked a video." I froze. "What video?" She held up her phone. On screen, grainy security footage showed me standing outside Jamal's house late at night with Briggs. "They're trying to frame you," Amara said. "But it's worse than that." She hit play. The reporter's voiceover boomed. New footage suggests Marcus Cole may have intimidated a key witness in his case. Is he really the victim or something more dangerous? My knees buckled. "They're flipping the script," I whispered. And this time, I wasn't sure if I could flip it back. Like, subscribe, and comment. I always thought I'd left the battlefield behind in Kandahar. But sitting here in this courtroom, I realized I was wrong. The enemy didn't wear rags or carry AK-47s. Here, the enemy wore suits and badges. And instead of bullets, they used lies. "They're destroying me, Amara," I said quietly. "They've already destroyed you," she replied. "Now you decide if you're staying down or getting back up." Her words lit something in me. I didn't survive war zones. I didn't bury brothers in arms overseas just to let Daniel Briggs bury me here. Tomorrow, I wasn't just going to testify. I was going to roar. Cole wasn't breaking. The media wasn't buying the angry veteran narrative. Even Miller, the partner I thought would have my back, was called to testify tomorrow. I slammed my fist against the wall. "This ends now," I muttered, but deep down I could feel it. The walls were closing in. The crowd outside had tripled. Signs waved in the air. "We believe Marcus." "Black veterans matter." "Jail Briggs." Amara squeezed my arm. "Don't let them see fear," she whispered. "I'm not afraid anymore," I said, and for the first time it was true. I took the stand, staring at 12 jurors who held my fate in their hands. "Ladies and gentlemen," I began, my voice low but steady. "When I signed up for the Army, I took an oath to protect and defend this country. I didn't ask if this country loved me back. I didn't ask if the people I was protecting saw me as their equal. I just served, and I came home thinking maybe, just maybe, I'd earned respect. But here I am, a grown man, a father, a veteran, and I was thrown to the ground, beaten like an animal by the very people I swore to defend. I didn't fight for this flag overseas just to come back and be treated like an enemy in my own streets. This isn't just about me. This is about every black man who's been told to comply or die. Every veteran who came home to find the war never really ended. And every little girl, like my daughter Elena, who deserves a father who can tuck her in at night without fearing a knock at the door. I turned to Briggs. "You thought your badge made you untouchable, but you made one mistake. You picked the wrong soldier to bring to court." For the first time in years, I felt small. His words echoed in my head, louder than any siren. The jurors weren't looking at me the same way anymore. And when my lawyer leaned over and whispered, "This isn't going well," my stomach churned. The judge called a recess. Outside, the crowd erupted into cheers as I stepped onto courthouse steps. Reporters shoved microphones in my face. "Marcus, do you think you'll win?" I didn't answer, because this wasn't about winning anymore. This was about surviving and making sure my daughter didn't have to fight the same war. Miller sat stiff in the witness chair. "Officer Miller," Amar began, "did you witness Officer Briggs assault Mr. Cole?" He hesitated. The entire room held its breath. "Yes," he said finally. "Yes, I did." Briggs leapt to his feet. "You lying son of a—" "Order!" The judge roared as bailiffs restrained him. Amara turned to me, her eyes wide. Miller just blew this case wide open. But then her phone buzzed. She answered and went pale. "What is it?" I asked. "They found Jamal." "Alive?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, but Marcus, he wanted to testify." There's a moment in every battle where you feel the shift, the moment the tide turns. It's not loud, not dramatic. It's quiet, like the weight of a wave just before it crashes. And sitting in that courtroom, watching Jamal walk to the stand, I felt it. The wave was coming. The room went silent as Jamal stepped forward, his small frame swallowed by an oversized hoodie. Briggs' eyes locked on him, cold and venomous. But Jamal didn't flinch. "State your name for the record," Amara said gently. "Jamal Reed." "And how old are you?" 17. "Jamal, on the night of March 17th, did you witness Officer Briggs interacting with Mr. Marcus Cole?" "Yes, ma'am. I saw everything." My palms were slick with sweat. This punk kid wasn't supposed to be here. He wasn't supposed to have the guts. "Don't say it," I muttered under my breath. "Don't you dare say it." I was walking home from my friend's house. I saw flashing lights. So I pulled out my phone and recorded. Marcus didn't do anything. He had his hands up the whole time. It was Officer Briggs who got aggressive. He shoved Marcus against the car and started hitting him. "Objection. Hearsay." "Overruled," the judge snaps. I watched Jamal speak, his voice shaking but his eyes steady, and I felt something rise in my chest. Pride. This boy, barely old enough to drive, had more courage than most grown men I'd met in uniform. "Do you have proof of what you saw?" Jamal nodded. "Yes. I uploaded the video to a cloud drive before they took my phone." A murmur rippled through the room. "Your Honor," Amara said, "we moved to admit the video into evidence." No. No. This couldn't be happening. I stood up so fast my chair tipped over. "This is a setup." I barked. "Sit down, Officer Briggs," the judge ordered. "You're being set up, Dan," my lawyer whispered, but his voice lacked conviction. And that's when I realized he didn't believe me anymore either. The footage filled the monitors. Briggs, baton raised. Marcus, hands in the air. Briggs' voice, clear as day. "Stop resisting." But the video showed the truth. Marcus never resisted. Briggs attacked without provocation. For the first time, I felt the blue wall crack. Not collapse, not yet, but crack. And once cracks form, it's only a matter of time before the whole damn thing comes down. Amara stood, holding a thick file. "Your Honor, we submit Officer Briggs' personnel record into evidence. Over the last 15 years, Officer Briggs has had 6 excessive force complaints, all quietly settled out of court. This isn't an isolated incident. It's a pattern." My vision tunneled. This was bad, worse than bad. The department promised those files would stay sealed. Now, they were out for the world to see. I turned to Miller, my former partner, sitting on the witness bench. "You too." I mouthed. He didn't respond, just stared at me with eyes full of regret. Reporters rushed to tweet the revelations. The jury whispered furiously among themselves. And Briggs finally lost control. "You're all a bunch of liars," he screamed, lunging across the table. Bailiffs grabbed him before he could reach Amara. "Take him back to holding," the judge roared. As Briggs was dragged out, he locked eyes on me. "This isn't over, Cole. You hear me? It's not over." But deep down, I knew it was. He was fighting ghosts now, and ghosts don't win wars. After court adjourned, Amara pulled me aside. "The jury's leaning in our favor," she whispered. "But don't celebrate yet. Briggs still has friends in high places. They might try one last play tomorrow." "Let them," I said, my voice low and steady. "Tomorrow is Judgment Day. Like, comment, and share." In combat, the worst moment isn't the firefight. It's the silence after. When you're waiting, heart pounding, unsure if you survived or if you're already dead. That's how I felt waiting for the verdict. The courthouse steps were overflowing. Veterans in uniform. Mothers holding their children tight. Signs waving in the air. Justice for Marcus Cole. The blue wall must fall. Amara squeezed my hand. You did everything you could, she said softly. But my mind was on Elena. I wanted her to grow up in a world where her father's fight meant something. All rise. The jury filed in, faces unreadable. My pulse roared in my ears. I gripped the edge of the table so hard my knuckles ached. The foreman stood. In the matter of the state versus Marcus Cole, on the charges of assaulting a police officer, we find the defendant not guilty. A gasp rippled through the room. My knees went weak. On the charge of resisting arrest, we find the defendant not guilty. On the charge of threatening public safety, not guilty. I didn't hear the rest. Amara's arms wrapped around me. The crowd erupted outside, cheers so loud they shook the walls. But all I could do was cover my face and cry. Not for me, for every name I'd read in the news over the years. For every father who didn't get to walk free. They brought him in, handcuffed this time. His uniform was gone. His eyes, once sharp and arrogant, now sunken and hollow. This isn't justice, he spat. This is a witch hunt. The judge banged his gavel. Daniel Briggs, you are hereby charged with perjury, evidence tampering, and assault under color of authority. The bailiff led him away as he screamed. You think you won, Cole? This system won't change. Marcus narrating. For once, I didn't reply. Because I didn't need to. His words sounded empty. Like a man yelling from the bottom of a grave, he dug himself. I stepped onto the courthouse steps. Cameras flashed. Microphones thrust forward. But I wasn't thinking about the reporters. I was thinking about Elena, watching at home with my sister. They say one man can't change the system. Maybe they're right. But one man can start something. One man can stand up and say, enough. I fought for this country overseas, and now I'm fighting for it here. Because justice isn't justice unless it applies to all of us. And peace isn't peace if it's built on fear. I raised my fist high. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. They led me through the back hallway of the courthouse, past reporters shouting my name. I used to be the one holding the keys. Now I was the one in chains. And for the first time, I felt what Cole must have felt that night. Small, powerless, alone. Elena ran into my arms as I walked through the door. Daddy, you're home. I held her tight, burying my face in her hair. Yeah, baby, I'm home. They'll write headlines. They'll make documentaries. They'll debate whether justice was truly served. But I don't care about any of that. I care about this moment, holding my daughter, breathing free air, and knowing I made my stand. The camera pans over candles and signs left behind. Justice for Marcus Cole. No one is untouchable. We the people will rise. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more story like this.